Have you installed your Umbrel on a 1 TB SSD and now you're running low on space? Is your SSD getting corrupted and you need to migrate? Have you already downloaded the entire blockchain and don't want to start over and wait a week or so for the initial block download and verification? Are you worried that your Lightning channels might get force closed and you don't want to start over by finding peers and reopening channels? If yes, this tutorial is for you. Even better, if you've installed other apps like Nextcloud or Tailscale, they'll also be transferred without needing to reconfigure anything. It's a straightforward process and you won't risk losing funds or data. Hi, this is Momo from Round the Fire with Momo with another tutorial. Cloning your Umbrel to a new SSD is easy and it can be done in under 3 hours. My friend Gooyban, the doc you probably know, here's his logo, has written a great guide on this, and this video illustrates his steps in a simple, visual, and easy to follow way. I'll also leave the original article linked in the description. Migrating your umbrel-os from one disk to another without losing data or funds is pretty much like repotting a plant into a bigger pot. You do not lose the plant, you just transfer it to a bigger, more comfortable pot, more fitted to its flourishing. To do this, you only need 3 things. A new SSD, obviously, a bootable flash drive with an umbrel-os image, and a Linux distro image that has gparted built in. I used the latest Ubuntu release, which already has gparted pre-installed in its live version. If you're wondering how to keep both images on the same USB stick, the tool Ventoy makes it possible. I'll link a tutorial video from Ask Your Computer Guy in the description. You'll also need an adapter or enclosure to connect your old SSD or HDD externally. I personally use an Orico SATA to USB enclosure, which I'll also link as a reference. You'll probably need a screwdriver or more than one depending on your hardware, and that's all you need. First, shut down your Umbrel properly, open your computer, and remove the old SSD. Insert the new one and install umbrel-os on it. Make sure your old SSD is not connected during this stage. If you'd like to see how to install Umbrel on any old machine, I have a separate tutorial which is under 15 minutes. I'll link it in the description and you can see it up here or here too. After the installation, log into your new Umbrel from another computer, create an account and confirm it works, but do not install any apps. Now you have a working Umbrel on your new SSD and you are ready to move on. It's helpful to understand Umbrel's partitioning system before we proceed. After umbrel-os version 1, a typical installation on x84-64 creates 4 partitions: 200 megabytes of ESP boot partition, 10 gigabytes of OS partition A, 10 gigabytes of OS partition B. They are used for updates. And the rest is the data partition, and that is the biggest one. This contains the blockchain, your apps, and all their configs. We only care about the data partition. Our goal is to transfer it from the old SSD to the new one. Now it's time to boot into your live Linux. Turn off your computer, insert your bootable USB. If your computer has only one USB 3 port, reserve it for connecting your old SSD later, because the copying requires a higher speed. Booting Linux works fine from USB 2. In my previous video, I said I couldn't boot from USB 2, but that's in fact not the case, either because of the BIOS changes I made or because I now use Ventoy. It works on USB 2 too. At this stage, only your Ventoy USB should be connected. Don't attach your old SSD yet. Turn your computer back on. From the Ventoy menu, choose your Linux distro. Linux takes a couple of minutes to boot. The welcome screen appears. Choose your language. Set accessibility options if needed. Select your keyboard layout. You can connect to the internet to be able to copy the commands directly from the article or the description of this video. It will make things much easier. but it's not required for the migration process itself. Skip updates, click Try Ubuntu, and close. Now is a good time to connect your external SSD. Open the terminal and run lsblk. This shows all connected drives. In my case, SDA is my new SSD because it has 1.8 terabyte of storage. Its partition dev SDA4, which is the biggest one, is the data partition I'll be replacing. SDB is my bootable USB. It also has the label Vento here. SDC is my old SSD, which has 931 gigabyte of storage. And partition dev SDC4, which is the biggest one, is its data partition. Open gparted for a graphical view of the disks and getting more information and confirmation. It never hurts to double check. It will ask for authentication. Click Authenticate. In the top right drop-down, you can switch between disks. Here's what I see. Dev SDA is 1.8 terabyte, which is my new SSD, as we found out before. Partition dev SDA has clearly the label data. This is my destination. I write down destination /dev /SDA4. Dev SDC is 931 gigabytes. This is my old SSD. Partition /dev /SDC4 is labeled data. This is my source. I write down source /dev /SDC4. Be very careful here. Write down these details and double check, even triple check. Once you're 100% confident, move on. Back in the terminal, create two mount points. Sudo mkdir mnt source. Enter sudo mkdir mnt destination. These two folders, source and destination, are made as mount points. Now mount your partitions. These two commands are the only exceptions where the command you're gonna type in is different from what I did. And you need to make modifications based on your own source and destination that you wrote down earlier. Other than that, you can copy and paste the commands from the video description or the article and then run them. I run sudo mount /dev /SDC4 space /mnt /source. Enter, then sudo mount /dev /SDA4 space /mnt /destination. To make sure, check the source partition with the ls command like so. ls mnt source umbrel-os home umbrel app-data. In my case, I can see Bitcoin, CodeServer, Nextcloud, Nostr Relay, and etc. They are the apps that are already installed. It's another indication that the source is really my source and has already data and apps on it. Now check the destination in a similar way. But this time, instead of source, write destination. It goes to the next line without printing any results, which means this is really our destination and the fresh installation of umbrel-os without any apps installed because there's no directory or files in it. Before the actual copy, run a dry run using the following command. This command is long. You can copy and paste it. I'll leave it in the description. This simulates the transfer. It takes a few minutes depending on your data size. In the meantime, please support the channel by giving this video a like, subscribing, and turning on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I release new content. Now it's complete. If it ends without any errors like you see here, it's safe to go ahead and run the actual transfer. Run the real command like so. I'll leave this also in the description below. This one doesn't have the dry run part in it. It's the real deal. This begins copying files to the new SSD. Expect this to take over an hour. At the time of recording, the blockchain alone is over 600 gigabytes, and I had additional apps installed. You'll see percentages as it progresses, which is reassuring. You know that something is going on. In the meantime, please give this video a like, hit the subscribe button and the bell button, and do some push-ups and squats for your health. Now about 1 hour and a half has passed, and the copying process has completed. We did double check, triple check everything. Don't trust, verify. It's the Bitcoin model. Let's live by that, and here's no exception. Make the process bulletproof with a checksum verification like so. I leave the exact command in the description below. This takes nearly as long as the copy itself. You won't see much on the screen this time. You wouldn't hear much from your computer either. Just be patient. After almost an hour, as you see, the process has completed and I've gotten a few lines of output. I haven't gotten any errors, which means the source and destination have the exact same files. The log file saved at /tmp/rsync-errors.log is useful if you encounter errors or have a long output to review. Unlike the terminal output, it's easier to navigate, and you can even share it with a friend for troubleshooting. In my case, since the process finished without issues, the log simply mirrors the short output shown on the screen. Opening it with a text editor like Nano shows the same content like so. Now everything is done and I can unmount the partitions that I mounted like so. Sudo umount /mnt/source sudo umount /mnt/destination. The command you see I typed here is a bit longer, but I have left a shorter version that is more universal, and you can safely copy and paste it with the same function. If you get umount not mounted, it means it's worked. So, except for the command at the time of mounting, all the other commands can be used by copy-pasting and without any modifications. Now, shut down your computer, remove the USB stick and external SSD, then power it back on. This is the moment of truth, but our heart rate wouldn't go up too much because we've already double-checked everything and we expect everything to work flawlessly. The boot menu shows Debian GNU Linux like before. I hit enter. It's looking good. And yes, my Umbrel has booted from the new SSD and even my IP address has not changed. Log in via the IP address or umbrel.local and you'll see everything, your channels, funds, blockchain data, and apps, all untouched. I didn't even need to reconfigure my Tailscale, Nextcloud, or OnlyOffice. They just worked right away. And that's it. You've migrated Umbrel to a new SSD without losing any data and funds. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like the video and subscribe. If you run into issues, drop a comment or share your own workarounds to help others. You'll find all the relevant links in the description, including my Linktree. If you'd like to support my work, you can buy me a coffee or send a few sats my way. Thanks for watching.